When people hear Project 2025, they think of Trump. But the reality is, Trump isn't writing 900-page policy manifestos. He's not. He's the salesman, the brand, the shiny keys. The real architects of Project 2025 are the people that you've never voted for, but who are quietly designing our government from behind the curtain. So let's meet them, the institution behind it, the Heritage Foundation. Project 2025 comes out of the Heritage Foundation, a conservative think tank founded in the 1970s. Heritage has always been about pushing right-wing policy into the mainstream. They wrote a lot of Reagan's playbook, and they've shaped Republican platforms for decades. With Project 2025, they went big. A massive handbook, a database of 10,000 pre-screened loyalists, and a training academy to prepare future political appointees. Think of it as a parallel government in waiting. The director, Paul Dams. Remember that name. At the top of the project is Paul Dams, a former Trump administration official from the Office of Personnel Management. Dams isn't flashy, but he's the project manager, the one corralling the authors, building the staffing database, and running what they call the Presidential Personnel Database. Translation? He's the HR director for authoritarianism, making sure every job in government gets filled with loyalists ready to follow orders. The policy architects. Now, who actually wrote these chapters? Here are the heavy hitters. Russell Vought, Trump's former director of the Office Management and Budget. Vought is one of the most powerful figures in the project, crafting the vision of a government purged of anyone not loyal to the MAGA line. He wants to dismantle the administrative state. That means career experts in agencies like the EPA, DOJ, and Department of Education, replaced by ideologues. Stephen Miller. Yeah, that's Stephen Miller. Trump's immigration hardliner, now running America First Legal. He's been linked to Project 2025's advisory board and has shaped policies on immigration, the stupidest thing ever, anti-woke laws, and education. Anti-woke laws and education together. Well, I guess that fits, doesn't it? God. Miller is the cultural architect, pushing the far-right culture war pieces. Christopher Miller, briefly Trump's acting Secretary of Defense. He wrote the defense chapter, laying out how to reshape the Pentagon under a more obedient chain of command. Peter Navarro, Trump's trade and economics guy, and one of the key voices behind the America First trade policies. So he's the guy we gotta blame. Navarro is all about protectionism and dismantling global trade systems in favor of a nationalist economy. We're so fucked. Gene Hamilton, a former Justice Department lawyer who worked close with Stephen Miller. He is one of the masterminds of the DOJ section in Project 2025. Focused on reshaping law enforcement and federal prosecutions. In all, there were 38 editors and authors. And here's the big shocker. 31 of them had already worked for Trump in some official capacity. That's 81%. These aren't outsiders writing ideas. They're insiders writing their comeback playbook. The political face, J.D. Vance. And then we have J.D. Vance, Trump's chosen running mate, who has become the political vessel for Project 2025. Vance has written the foreword to books tied to the project and has positioned himself as the true believer in this new authoritarian framework. Trump, he is just the shiny brand for people to look at and be distracted by. Vance is the heir apparent. That's why the Heritage crew wanted him. He's young, polished, Ivy League trained, and willing to play the long game. Trump's role, the brand, not the builder. So here's where it really gets interesting. Trump himself has distanced himself from Project 2025. He's called it ridiculous, said he didn't know what it is, but the fingerprints are all over his administration. The key advisors, his policy team, and now his vice president are all directly tied to it. This is not Trump's plan. He's not smart enough for that. This is the Heritage Plan, with Trump as the marketing tool. Trump is the wrecking ball. Why all this matters? What you have here is a government in waiting, written by think tank operatives, former Trump officials, and far-right ideologues. They want control of every lever of government. Who gets hired, what law gets enforced, what rights get stripped. And while everyone stares at Trump's latest outburst on Truth Social, these are the people that you should be watching. Paul Dams, Russell Vought, Stephen Miller, Peter Navarro, Gene Hamilton, J.D. Vance, and the Heritage Foundation itself. They are the ones writing the manual for authoritarianism in America, not Trump. He can't even find his way out of a bathroom. The takeaway, okay, Trump is the showman, the distraction. The real power is in the architects of Project 2025, the people quietly building a parallel government, chapter by chapter, appointment by appointment. And unless people know their names, they'll stay in the shadows, pulling the strings while Trump takes the heat. So next time somebody tells you Trump's running the country, when you're done laughing, remember this. He's not running it. He's selling it. The builders of Project 25, they're the ones in charge of the blueprint, and they've already started construction. Yeah, I thought it was time that we got to know these people, guys. Let's stay focused and pay attention to who's actually running the game here, because it sure as hell ain't Trump. He can't. He can't. But we have to be prepared for what's coming next. J.D. Vance and Project 2025. Because when Trump's lights go out, it's not over. It's really just beginning. But we'll get through it. Hang in there, guys. More to come later.